Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast, and we are looking at game 2 of a series where the home team is currently down 1-0. Celtics and Knicks here on Wednesday night. We're also going to have an episode up for the other game from the Western Conference. The Nuggets are up 1-0 in that one, up on the Thunder. So we'll be taking a look at game 2 there as well. Make sure you sub to the channel. Continue to follow along with us all season or all postseason for the rest of these playoffs. Nate, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Obviously, Knicks stunned them. A lot of reasons we can look at. Let's get into your first pick and talk about it a little bit.
I mean, you know the biggest reason, everybody's saying it, is 25% on the most three-point attempts in an NBA playoff game in history. That's the only way your Knicks were able to get the win. But I'm not here to trash talk. I'm here to give out a pick, which is Celtics to score 57.5 in the first half. And like their second quarter total, even more. That's not necessarily available everywhere, but the book I found, the odds were slightly better for 28.5 in the second quarter. It's definitely possible they top the total in both of these two here in the first two quarters, but they averaged 30 in the second quarter in the playoffs last year, and there's usually a reason for it. In this particular matchup, it should be stark because they're deeper than everybody else, and Hauser's going to be out, it looks like, but Porzingis is going to give it another go. Hopefully, he doesn't just start that house of bricks with a solid foundation like he did in game 1. He's feeling a little bit better. But I mean, the Celtics, the thing they do in the second quarter that we've seen historically here is they don't actually have high 3-point volume. They attack the basket. And that's the idea, is to get the other team in rotation. Like, you can't play this 5-out stuff if you're not actually going to make anybody rotate. Like, that's what they were doing at the end of that game. And they were just standing on the perimeter. And then you get into like Tatum step back threes. And then it's like pull your hair out. Like, what is this offense doing? And I think they're going to look at all that stuff and adjust. And Joe Maz will have some ideas about how to fix that. And you looked in the second quarter of game 2, or really just in the first half of game 1, I'm sorry. I mean, what they shot 60% on twos, and they got 20 free throw attempts in the first half. Like, they were getting anything they want going to the rim. If you look at last year, the last 5 home game 2s, in fact, the Celtics averaging 30.5 in the second quarter, shooting 60% from the floor on low 3-point volume. The only under was 27 in that series against Orlando last time out. That was without Jason Tatum. And I mean, the Knicks defense, because they're so thin, right? Because when they have to actually sit anybody, their second quarter is going to be a little weaker. They have a 122 defensive rating both this year and last year in the second quarter in the playoffs, I'm saying. So, I mean, yeah, I think the Celtics just going to be able to push that advantage early and then have the 3-pointers come along late. But I mean, they might just have positive regression with the threes and pile on an early avalanche in that sense.
Yeah, all that's true. Not sure what's up with Kristaps. I think that comes into play too. I was going to say, like, that's the other reason. Obviously 25% from 3, 45 missed threes is a big part of it. And if you look at on the other side of the ball and you're talking about the Knicks defense, I don't know, there was a large amount of open shots, wide open shots, whatever the exact, titling for 6 feet versus 4 feet or whatever. Them dudes was open and they missed. That's really what it came to. And it's almost like a plague at some point when it's just going like that. But Kristaps changes things too. Like the middle was wide open at times, but the Knicks defense was tough. And Kristaps being down there and being able to make, threaten you at least on the other side of the rim, say in the dunker spot or right in that area, like without anybody even threatening there, it's a little bit different. So he is probable now. It seemed like it was more of a sickness that he was dealing with as opposed to any kind of muscle injury or anything. But I think he's huge there, and he'll continue to help their offense look a lot better as well, make things easier for them. But I'm going to go to Drew and just go right back to it and start with him. 10.5 points. We talked about it last game, and it came true, not just because he got there, but he took 14 shots. And sometimes I worry with Drew. Maybe this is I'm thinking of Drew in the old days where I'm like, even on the Bucks, where you're like, oh man, he has these games where he goes real hot, but then if he misses a couple, then he gets shy and he doesn't want to be the guy, causing the team to miss a ton of shots. So he doesn't take them when he's open. I think he's past that. I mean, I know he is on the Celtics. I mean, it's a rule that you shoot the open shot or you're not worth, you're a detriment to the team. If you can't shoot, if you won't even shoot it, you're out. Shout out Grant Williams at times from the old Celtics days. So yeah, that's why I think Drew knows he's going to keep shooting. He's going to be out there. I mean, he is the Brunson defender. He put on a clinic in the first half in terms of how to guard Tatum, talking about Brunson, in terms of like keeping him in front of you. Don't go for the up fakes. Don't let his head just like push you off of him. All these different tactics. It was incredible. So his minutes aren't going anywhere. And the shots will continue to be there because we saw him continue to get into actions as they continue to force Brunson to play, because he and Cat, it worked to perfection in that sense. Like they got Cat and Brunson into foul trouble consistently starting in the first half. That's why Drew will continue to be so heavily involved. And that's why I'll continue to feel good about taking him.
So, I mean, I'm trying to find ways to bet on the Celtics being aggressive here and not settling. And that means Jason Tatum getting 25. Of course, he can get 8 boards. He can get more than that. But you put those two things together with Boston to win, and you are looking at plus money all of a sudden, or near even. You can play with this however you want. I mean, he's usually good for 10 boards, especially if we knew Porzingis were to play a full game, right? You've talked about it often, how when Porzingis is active, Tatum is actually a better rebounder because Porzingis does not go get those boards himself. And I mean, he's already second best rebound chance rate in these playoffs, 12.2 per game on 17.5 chances. And then when Porzingis went down, he was at 94% actually. So it was not the same correlation in that sense. In game one, it was just like nobody else on the Celtics is interested in getting a defensive rebound. It appears they just trust Tatum to do it. And I mean, he only had 3 points on 7 drives in that game. He took 15 threes. Like that's just like totally the not mixing up your bag. Like we saw him in that Orlando series. We saw like a much more mature offensive player really all season, just understanding like when to push different buttons and when to get to the bucket. And versus the Knicks this season, for example, 11 drives a game, shot 55% on those drives, 8.3 points just on drives. So you don't even need to depend on the 3-point regression. But once he starts to feel it, I mean, anybody who's a talented offensive player knows once you get that a couple of layups or middies, all of a sudden that 3 starts to feel a lot better. And Coach Maz, I'm sure, is working on ways to get OG off him, to get more chances on Mikal Bridges, and the first round draft pick man who was last seen trying to guard Tatum in the last 2 regular season matchups, and Reggie Miller just calling it child abuse on national television. So I don't think he has much chance if Tatum starts to ISO and if Tatum's feeling hot. 25 points is a pretty low bar. I mean, core line is 28. And the rebounds are also probably good up to 10, but let's just play conservative and get some even money.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think Tatum and Brunson are both good. No disagreements. I think he's going to have a better shot selection in this one. So I'm just going to get right to my last pick here, which is talking about Brunson, because I think he's still good for over 26.5. Like I did expect this to shoot up. I thought it would get to at least 27, maybe 28, and maybe it'll get bet up there. But I'm very happy to take this 26.5. And I think there's there's worth something worth saying about like 30 plus for both these guys again if you think Tatum's going to come back. And just to finish the Tatum point, like Brown doesn't really look that interested at times. I don't know. I was very surprised in the way that JB came out, especially at the end of the game, and didn't really seem to want it quite as much, and just really was seeming to acquiesce to Jason Tatum.
He was having trouble with Cat. Like Cat was actually able to defend him. He wasn't quite sure. Like, do I want to attack you like you're a big or like you're small? And like he was kind of muddled in between.
Yeah. And then another one that sticks out is the Jalen Brunson pull-up. He has Brunson on him. It's like, okay, you got the switch. Why did you pull up from 3 above the break from 29, 30 feet? Like, you go now. And he didn't. It was just weird decision-making from him. I expect him to be sharper, but I think at the end of the day, this is Tatum's team, and that's sort of a big difference from last year and this year. Is like we came into the playoffs being like, there isn't a question from even the layman about whose team this is. But obviously, there's never been a question about Brunson. So like I said, over on the points there, it is his team, and especially because the second best player allegedly on offense is Cat. That's a big part of this. Who knows how many minutes he'll play, but even when Cat's been out there, I mean, Jalen Brunson's usage is through the roof for a reason. He figured some stuff out. I mean, he definitely got hindered by foul trouble, right? Like even when he starts out slow in the first quarter, he usually goes into halftime with closer to 14 points or so in these these playoff games, and then if need be, finishes it off in the fourth quarter, kind of like he did in this last one. So I'm really not scared of a poor start from him, but like we saw in the last game, what really like keeps me going here is just like I know that he can get his twos, and if he can get his twos against his team and they continue to allow the amount of shots up to him, then I think he's going to continue to be good for close to 30 points per game, and this should be at about 28.5 for him, which I think is where it will end up. The threes, like we talked about it last game, we'll talk about it again. It's plus money still for you to take him to make 3 threes, and the thing you like about that is the attempts. He took 9 in the last game, and he's now averaging about that against them on the season, right? He's going up to more than 8 per game when he's playing against this team from deep. You exclude the first game of the season when he only played 25 minutes, like we talked about last episode as well about this series, and like he's even higher, right? He's closer to almost 10 per game. So I think he's good for 3 for 9. When you're talking about plus money, it's really just a shift in the odds if you're talking about for the threes. And then, like I said, for the points, he's going to be forced off the 3-point line as much as they can, which they've done because they'll trade Brunson 2s for 3s more than they'll obviously want the 3s to go up. But once he gets his 2s going, then you guys get a little bit more lost on the switches on defense for the Celtics, and then you do find Brunson a little bit open at the end of a shot clock or after a few turns around the horn.
I think I really like the threes. 2.5 threes. Yeah. Is now I think minus 105, not plus money anymore, but that's too low. I mean, yeah, when you look at it, actually, I mean, he had some good looks inside the arc, but when you look at the last 3 matchups against Boston, going back to the regular season, he has 5, 5, and 4 made 2s, and then he has 5, 5, and 4 made 3s. So it's just like Jalen Brunson's going to get his buckets any way he can. We talked about his ability to create separation, and if he realizes that he's getting too much attention when he gets inside the arc, what we saw down the stretch last game is he's like, okay, I'm just going to get my space out here, and I'm just going to hit these and silence your crowd. And like if he's willing to take them, like I trust him to not brick a bunch at all. Like obviously extremely competent and clutch player down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's gonna hopefully be a good game. He said scared and tentatively as a Knicks fan, but we'll see how angry the C's come out and if the Knicks can match it. So that's all the time we have for you in this one for game 2. Make sure to subscribe to that channel, like we said. Also bringing you an episode for the other game on Wednesday night, the Nuggets and Thunder. So until we see you next, happy betting.